Megan and Manfo here to report our closeout report for our Fund 6 project, Cardano Preserving Culture. We did this as a joint effort with our Cameroon hub, WADA Cameroon hub, and then also Taka worked with the Ghana team on a decentralized production system. So the problem that we were trying to address, digital services for intellectual property are not available to Indigenous communities, excluding them from fair and legal representation. So our solution was to bring in local developers on a journey to solve the intellectual property problem among Indigenous communities for them to earn more for their craft. So we really had two main approaches here. The Ghana team helped Thaka on the ground to make connections with the modern fashion industry. They had an event where a couple of meetings and an event where they were able to address kind of the current state of intellectual property and pave the way for the decentralized production system, which incorporates AI technology, and also NFT technology to kind of preserve Indigenous culture through fashion. And more specifically, will be a way for local craftsmen to earn more for their craft by kind of locally creating garments. On the Cameroon side, our hub, we are currently working to train developers in Haskell, and we added a kind of cultural component to explore identity. So we've started, a few of our members have started an initiatory journey to really deeply explore this concept, and we're implementing it into our education at our hub level and sort of establishing a pathway to implement this identity framework into our different applications. So first we'll talk about Taka went to Ghana and hosted a large event with the Ghana Fashion School, where she was able to bring up some of these concepts to local students and kind of present the possibilities for what could happen on the blockchain, as well as do some problem sensing for the system that she wants to develop. On the Cameroon side, I'll let Manfo speak more.
Well, great. Thank you, Megan. So, as Megan mentioned before, we took a kind of complementary approach to what the Ghana team did with Taka. Here in Cameroon, we are focusing on the traditional and ancestral view of, first of all, what identity is, and then, leveraging all the findings in that to implement a platform where local artists and designers can actually gain from their work. So we started with connecting with the Kimuntu Initiatory School because we really wanted to experiment ourselves the notion of identity in deep Africa. And we were fortunate enough to find the Kimuntu school that offered just that. Yeah. So the Kimuntu school gave us tools to understand what identity is really about. But later down the road, we met with Memos, who works at the Ufulu Pan-African Library, and they focus on, bringing back a culture or reactivating art through like reading. So they run conferences about like specific theme. We've already participated to two of them. And one of them was really around the notion of identity and how ancient ancients from Africa use astrology to actually organize their tribes and to plan their way of lives. So one central and critical aspect of identity there, which is strictly connected to astrology. The next conference that we organized together is the power of the name, again related to identity. We went into it in great detail. And the way it works is the library suggests like a couple of books that students, university and college and high school students have to read. And then a conference is organized to answer their questions and clarify some items or some notions they don't get. And this is, this feeds into a final activity, which is called Read to Art, where they create artwork that will then be published to the platform we're planning on building. So perspective for the future, preserving culture was really an important project to us in the sense that we wanted through this to bring, our developers here at Cameroon Wada Hub into a journey of not only learning about culture viewed from ancestral lenses, but also then practicing what they've learned into like specific project. So meaning a project-based learning approach. And as you can see, all these findings, all this research, all these meetings with subject matter expert brought us to these three proposals. At the center, you have SSI from Ancestral African Lenses, which is a proposal where we are suggesting to really sit down with the community and start a conversation around the view of African when it comes down to identity, group identity, intellectual property, and anything related. So then we have Petiopa NF Art and NF Craft Marketplace on the left-hand side, which is really about giving a platform to local hidden artists, incredible artists, to expose their platform and benefit from their work. On the right hand side, we have like artists that write books. I call them artists, and it's the same principle, the same like goal, where we really want to create NFTs, book NFTs, and solve some deep issues on the ground regarding the reading culture.
So here are the specific links to those, and thank you for listening to our closeout report.